Hey y'all, welcome to Breaking Chains and Taking Names. I am your host, Mary, with my co-host David, and our special guest tonight, Tanya, who, what a journey from stay-at-home mom to rock star financial coach. We're going to hear all about it. David, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Diving right in, this is an interesting topic because I know we all go through fun parts. And some of us are blessed to still be with our lovely husbands or wives, depending on who you are, but some of us are not. And when you're single and having to raise your kids, or, you're at home while the father or husband is out, or the wife or whatever you are is out, and you're the only one, it leaves you stranded where you have to do everything. You have to manage, cook, clean, everything. And that type of thing right there makes you special. Now, everybody knows when you're a mom, it just becomes, you just get this nation, this automatic thing that you just know how to take care of your child from the get go. Fathers, we don't necessarily have that. We do take care of our kids, we protect them to death, but we just don't have what mothers have. So, this is an interesting topic. Stay at home mom to rock star, even handling everything going on, and you're still able to rock the socks off of people. Tell us about that, Tanya.
Oh, thank you, David. So, well, I don't know if I call myself a rock star, but I do uplift my clientele to do that. So I guess I should, right? We need to embody
Own
that
it,
same,
baby.
call it the same thing that we want them to call it. So, yeah, it's when you take that choice to be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, because that happens too, right?
Hmm.
That is a choice that you can't take lightly, and that is something I found out very early on. So I am a mother of three. They are now grown, three boys that are very wonderful young men. And it wasn't always sunshine and roses. All right. So we think of when we have children of how wonderful it is to have a baby, but those babies grow up, right? And they develop their own, you want them to develop their own personality, their own sense of being, but sometimes that's not what you envision, right? So bringing and taking on that persona of being the stay-at-home mom or the stay-at-home dad, it is a job in itself. And in this day and age, I think we really belittle that. We don't look at it as a job. I hear way too often mothers saying, well, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. What can I do? Okay. So when you stay at home, whether you're a mom or a dad, and you're taking care of those little ones, I want you to understand that it is not just staying home and taking care of those little ones. Like David said, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're wiping, noses and giving baths. And if you have pets, you're taking care of those pets. You're taking care of the household finances and the bills, and you're taking care of making sure the lights stay on. You're taking care of, making sure there's food in the house, right? You are you are the home unit manager
Mhm.
that stabilizes the home. And I think we take it for granted.
We do, absolutely. Tanya, I did the single mom thing for 10 years. And
Mhm.
so that I was teasing with um, one of my old friends. I'm like, you know what? I deserve a Mother's Day and a Father's Day gift because I do all of it.
There you go.
I never
Ab-
thought of it that way. That would be interesting, you know? Um, a guy, myself,
Mhm.
yeah, I deserve a Mother's Day. You, Mary, being a woman, or Tanya being a woman, hey, I deserve a Father's Day. That would make people look, hmm,
I did because, well, of course, I did things, before they were things. You know,
You're a ground setter.
I am. I'm a trendsetter.
Yeah.
some of my trends are lacking, but we're not going to talk about that.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, you think of the same thing, father-daughter dances, mother-son dances.
Yeah.
What if that parent isn't there?
Yeah.
It's always the other one that steps in, or it's an uncle or
Right.
someone, a father figure, somebody within the family will step in. And, if we have those resources available to us, then that child has a richer life. But
Correct.
it doesn't mean if you don't have those things that you as an individual can't be there for them.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. Because when we're the stay-at-home mom or we're the single parent, man or woman, we are the nurturer and the disciplinarian and the teacher and all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
We are responsible. That's what I told my husband. I said, we're responsible for raising good humans.
Yep.
God gave us these 3 kids. We are responsible for raising good humans.
Yep. And you said the key point. When somebody's not there to step in, when we usually step in, right? Thing I think is more, I think nowadays, especially in today's time, so many times both parents aren't there.
Mhm.
There is something going on, some situation, and the kids become better because they can actually learn and grow from that to give
Absolutely.
them even a bigger testimony to help somebody else out.
Mhm.
Well, I've been through that. I can help you. This is what I went through. You know, I had this happen. My dad was this. My real birth dad came out of a church and was shot at gunpoint. You know, that's a testimony that can help other people out.
Yeah,
We all go through things. What
Right.
is a testimony that we can help people out with?
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I do want to make it clear. I was, happily married when I was raising my kids.
Mhm.
But being the stay-at-home mom, I was a stay-at-home mom fully for the first 3 when they were born. And then when I needed to, I worked part-time jobs. I
Mhm.
did what I had to do. And it wasn't until they were grown and all 3 either in or out of high school, like the youngest one in high school, middle school going into high school, where I went into a full-time job.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I even dabbled my little hand in homeschooling with all 3 of them. I was really pat myself on the back. I'm just because when I homeschooled them, I only homeschooled them for each a couple of years, but when they went into public school, they were all 2 grades ahead.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So, it was nice to see that I actually accomplished something. I don't know if they would say the same thing. I don't know if they felt pressured in the whole process or not, but I tried to make it fun.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. So, that was out of necessity to have to go back to work and everything. So,
Well,
but
and
I didn't want it.
I love how you brought up the homeschooling,
Mhm,
because when the kids get homeschooled, you're right. They actually get a better education
mhm,
because they don't have all the distractions.
Mhm.
right.
Now they miss the social, but that's why I usually go places like the YMCA or some place where they can
Mhm.
still get the social. But they don't have the pressures of, especially in today's public schools,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, and today's homeschooling groups too, which I love, is they actually have groups where you can intermingle and parents can share the responsibilities of teaching. So that if they have a specialty in a certain topic, that parent could
Right.
teach a group of kids, and then they're getting that social
Mhm.
activity there. And then with
Right.
our kids, also what we did was we literally took field trips. Like
Mhm.
depending on what they were learning, we take them to a battlefield and learn about the battlefield, or we took them to the zoo and learned about the animals. So there were things that we did within our budget,
Mhm.
right? But we took them out and we got them out. And we also put them into when they were real young, we put them into like sports, but
Mhm.
it wasn't the school sports, it wasn't like travel sports, that kind of thing. It was community, So it wasn't expensive, but it was still going to get them into something and help them burn that energy and have that exercise they needed too.
Absolutely. When I was growing up, I had a sport for all seasons, but I played for the church.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't, and this, I think about this the other day. I don't think it was a thing, you know, the select sports and the travel leagues. When I was growing up 100 years ago, that was not a thing.
100 years ago.
You think that's
You're not that old, Mary.
But, you know, I was, we were on a trip not too long ago, and I was struck up a conversation with some people in the hotel lobby, and they had their kids on a travel hockey league. And so we were just talking about it, and the lady's like, it is so expensive. And I'm thinking to myself, there are so many people, and I get it, you know, you want your kids to have that experience, but at what cost?
Yeah.
You know, what sacrifice is having to be made? And that's half the clients that like this. If I'm really close to them, I'll go like, are they really going to be a professional athlete?
Exactly.
And what is the point of putting all this time and effort into something like that that is not going to blossom when they can get the same thing through group sports locally, and you don't have the expense? And yeah, but
Yeah.
again, like I said, when I was growing up, it wasn't a thing.
No, it wasn't. I mean, we had our, what was it, like districts and things like that. We had like with sports. I wasn't in sports. I was a marching band geek. But I mean, with that, I did travel because we made it to championships a lot.
Nice, yeah.
And I was excited for my kids because like my oldest, he was in percussion and my second son was saxophone.
Okay.
But I was excited for them for that travel.
Mhm.
But then I found out they didn't travel that far with now. They stay within a certain, I think the furthest we went was Virginia Beach, maybe. But it's like I was traveling up and down the East Coast. I've been to Canada. I've been to Texas. You know, I've been to Kentucky, Tennessee, because those were where the nationals were being held. Kind of like the Olympics, you know, every year it was somewhere different.
Yeah, somewhere different.
So
Okay.
yeah, so for me that was exciting, but I had to earn my own money to go. You know, we had to sell produce or, you know, grapefruits and
Yeah, something.
why people would buy crates of grapefruits, I don't know, but they did.
Right.
Sometimes they just support, you know, they see what you're
They do
doing.
it to support, you know. Now
Yeah.
it's, you know, the $8 candy bar that's now this big,
Yes.
the size of a fun size, but it's, you know,
Mhm.
$12.95. But we still buy them.
Yes.
And then there's the greatest salespeople in the whole world, the Girl Scouts. We can't resist.
Oh, I can.
Well,
I
and you
used to
know,
be a Girl Scout.
since you brought up the Girl Scouts, I just have to say this. Thin Mints were my favorite. They were the
Yeah.
best in the world.
Yeah.
What did they do to my Thin Mints?
Mm.
They've changed it. It is not the same.
They changed a lot of them.
It was an
But-
upgrade that was really a downgrade.
It was
Yeah,
around,
because I mean, like, I couldn't resist. And
Mhm.
every time I seen one girl, I would buy like 10 boxes. And if I seen 20 girls, guess what? I had 300 boxes.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't resist my Thin Mints. My
Yeah.
Thin Mints. But
Thin
now
Mints,
I
yeah.
tried one this year and it's like, oh, I can pass.
Yeah. Yeah, they changed the recipes on quite a few of them and they discontinued several. And but I used to be a Girl Scout and when I learned some of the stuff behind it, I was like, I can't support it. I will go up to the girls and I will congratulate them and you talk to them and things like that and talk to them about the entrepreneurship that they're learning and things like that. But I do not support child labor for pennies on a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
So And I used to work for a church. I was a office administrator for a church. And during that time, we found out that the Girl Scouts, I'm trying to think of what they call it. It's like the corporate part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they had a conference for the Girl Scouts to come to, like a big convention. And the parent, it was one parent was allowed to go with them, and then the child. And then at one point, they asked the parents to leave the auditorium. And the parents who refused, they kept trying to push them out, kind of thing. They ended up handing out propaganda and stuff to these little girls
Oh.
about women's choice and all these things, and the things that, some parents may have been fine with it, but
Mhm.
other parents weren't. But they should have never been asked to be left alone in that
Mm-mm.
auditorium.
Mm-mm.
And when we heard about that, I've been like, I'm done. I'm so done. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's wrong to, it raises questions. Why do you want my kid to be
Right.
alone? I mean, yeah,
And
there's tons of kids in
what's the
there,
purpose? Right.
but still, you got kids only. Why?
yeah,
And
Now,
every
my
one of
child,
them is a minor.
yeah,
my
if
child
the
would have walked.
parents leave on their own, that's one thing. But for you to forcefully ask them to leave, now, like at my church, we actually did child labor, but they were paid very well. We
Yeah.
we did a thing where we rented out the kids. Of course, it was only to like the members of the church that we trusted, right? But they were going for a special trip or whatever, and they had to raise their money, so
Okay.
we would rent out the kids.
Mhm.
For I think it was for a half hour they would get $20, and for 3 hours they would get $50.
Okay. But there
So
was a
for
purpose. There was a purpose that they were going to benefit from.
oh yeah,
So to me, that's teaching them work ethic. It's teaching them help other people. So there's a difference between that and them marketing
yeah,
and producing and doing the footwork for a big corporation and only literally getting 10 cents a dollar for
Yeah.
their troop.
yeah,
Not exaggerating. 10 cents on a dollar.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
when we rented the kids, they got all the money.
yeah,
Now they didn't
that's
actually
different.
get the money; it went towards what they were going for.
Mhm.
Sure.
Now sometimes the kids got a lot of extra jobs because they were good workers. Like there was this one boy that was at the church. He was a workaholic, so everybody wanted to rent him. And it was priced in a way where you only had to do 6 hours, and your trip was paid for.
Wow.
Get two people to do the 3 hour one, and your trip was paid. Everybody wanted this one kid in particular, so he always got way more. Now he was nice. He paid for somebody else to come, but then he also pocketed a lot of extra money too, because that money goes to them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Well, he's got good work ethic.
yeah,
That's something he's learning early, right? So, again, if it's teaching them something and it's benefiting them and it's for a purpose for them, like in marching band, I had to earn the money to go, and
yep,
they provided a way to do that, and whatever was earned, it went to us individually.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like they were keeping 75 and we were getting 25%. So it was a way for us to make a way for those of us who didn't have the parents with all the money to
Right.
be able to go. So I'm all for that kind of thing.
Sure. Sure. We did
Mhm.
that with my son is an Eagle Scout, and we did that all the years that he was in Scouts. They had their big fundraisers, and we would all go work the fundraiser. And holy cow, did I spend a lot of time at the fundraisers? But he did, and we did with him. So he got his portion, and then he got a partial portion for what my husband and I worked.
Mm.
Part of what we worked went to him. Part of what we worked went to the troop, just
Yeah.
to fund the troop. I was
Mhm.
okay with that.
Yeah.
mhm.
Tanya, how did you come to be a financial coach?
Well, it started back in 19. It's not a lie. It started back in about 19. was it 19? I want to say 90. Let's see, my son was born, I'll say 94, maybe 1994, right around when Ramsey Corporation started.
Oh, okay.
So my husband and I had been married for a couple years, and my first son was just born. And we made this wonderful decision that that's when I would start being a stay-at-home mom.
Mm.
Not the best decision. I would, if I went back, I'd probably do it all over again because that's where my heart was, right? I did go back to work for a little bit, but my heart bled every time I left him crying at the door, and it was very difficult. But yeah, so we had medical bills. We had we were on credit cards at the time. We had car payment. So there were things that were just overbearing on us with one
Yeah.
income.
Sure.
We were attending a church at the time that was promoting. They said that they were going to have this guy, Dave Ramsey, come into our church and talk to us about FPU, Financial Peace University. And yes, I got to meet Dave in person in the very beginning. And that's how it all began. Not actually coaching, but that's where I got introduced to the concept.
Okay.
So my husband and I took FPU, and then we started coordinating it in person at the church.
Okay. All right.
And at that time, they weren't doing coaches, they had counselors.
Yeah.
And they were training counselors. Well, the title counselor has to have something behind it, like, a degree of some sort. So we couldn't do that. So we stayed just being coordinators. Well, then we changed churches. Actually, let me rewind that a little bit. Before I even met Dave, we were already trying to get on a budget and get things done. I could be Dave Ramsey right now because I had an Excel spreadsheet. Mary, you told me that you were really good with spreadsheets, right? So I had an Excel spreadsheet that was doing the debt snowball before I even met David. And I was like, if I had only moved on that. But it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I was doing something very similar before I even met him. And then I found out about Financial Peace University, and then putting all of the steps together, the baby steps that he markets. It just made so much sense. So I got his book. I actually have over on my shelf, I have the original Financial Peace University coordinator kit.
Oh, wow.
It's got the tapes and the
The tapes.
videos and the workbook and the envelope system. It's got everything in there. I love sharing it during my virtual classes because they're just like, how old are you?
18.
It brings me a
I
good
was born at-
question. You said tapes. Is it the VHS tapes?
I'd have to pull them out. It might be wait a minute, it may be CDs, but I have the tapes, the audio tapes.
Oh, okay.
They're on tapes. But yeah, I have those, and I think the other ones are CDs if I remember correctly. But I opened it up the other day because somebody was asking about it. I was like, "Oh yeah, I've got it right here," and they're like, "That is crazy," One of my Financial Peace University students actually sent me a random text one day saying, "Look what I found at a yard sale," and it was one of those, and I was like, "Oh, I've got one of those."
I've got
So
the
it was
third
really cool.
version.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have the one of the originals, and if I was kind of hoping to meet Dave one day again and have him sign it, but we'll see. But that's how I got introduced to it. And then fast forward, I help people, family members, friends. I help them with their finances all through the years. And when I found out that he had coaches now, I was like, that is perfect because, kind of throw this in here, I was homebound for 7 years. I had a work-related incident where I was exposed to commercial carpet glue fumes.
Oh.
Didn't know I was going to have an adverse reaction to it. Got out of the elevator at work one day, and I could almost within a minute or two, I couldn't breathe. I had an anaphylactic shock to it. So not going to go through that whole long story, but it was a bad situation. Ended up homebound for 7 years. They tested me. They put me on all kind of drugs until I said, I'm not going to be a guinea pig anymore, and put my foot down. One of the drugs, what did it was one of the drugs they put me on, it gave me the same symptoms of having an aneurysm.
Oh,
When I explained what I was going through to the doctors, that's what they said. They tested me to make sure I wasn't actually having one. And they said, you had the symptoms, but luckily you didn't have an aneurysm. So I was crying and I was screaming so loud, I was asking somebody to blow my head off because my head hurt so bad. And my legs, they just cramped up. Every muscle in my legs just cramped up, and I went into a fetal position. And I was like that for about 20 minutes on the floor.
wow.
And besides breaking my arm, never want to do that again.
10 out of 10 do not recommend that either.
10 out of 10, don't do that again. So I avoid that drug. But yeah, so through that process, I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. And I was told by my attorney, don't work from home because, I was going through workman's comp and workers. Yeah, it's not fun. For 7 years going through workman's comp, working with a occupational counselor. So I had to apply to at least 10 jobs every day for 7 years. And I had to find them and I had to apply to them. And if they responded, I had to set up an appointment. And I told them, I said, you do realize I can't go in for an interview, right? And they're like, well, you need to at least try. And I'm like, you do realize what my symptoms are, right?
Right.
And they kept trying to force the association. So what happened, I went from my diagnosis, finally, they just settled on one, but they diagnosed me with irritable larynx disorder, which is the same thing that singers get when they overwork their vocal cords. That's kind of what happens. Everything in my vocals will just swell up. I start to sound like Kermit the Frog. And I began to have a hard time breathing. I had to kind of learn to swallow again, the whole 9 yards. But what happened when they kept doing this to me, I also developed PTSD and anxiety.
Yeah.
So
How could
now,
you not?
yeah, so now I can't work in a normal work environment. I can't go into an office because I am hypersensitive, because they won't say allergic for whatever reason. I can say allergic, but to any synthetic smells.
Oh, okay.
I used to do, what is it called? With the candles.
Oh, Scentsy or something?
No, the other ones that you can get in the store. No, I can't think of the name of
I
them.
can't think of.
Oil burners?
No, oh gosh. Anyway, the scented candles that everybody raved over, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But I used to love those, and I had no problems with them. Now I can't be within smell distance of them. I can't be around people that have scented hairspray, scented body lotion, scented deodorant, scented anything. Everything in my house, including my laundry detergent, my shampoo, deodorant, all that stuff is unscented now. And
Yankee Candle.
Yankee Candle. There we go.
I'm thinking CR347 is yours.
Yeah, that's your son.
CR347 URE. Is that one of your boys? Because he's, hey mom, heart doing great, thumbs up, and then cassettes and Yankee Candle. So he's participating.
Yes. See what is the call name?
At CR347 URE.
That might be my youngest. Ask him if his name is Christopher.
He can hear me. Not off.
Put your name in the chat, bud, so we know which one you are.
He said Z.
Oh, Z. Okay, that's Zachary.
It's
Hi,
Z.
Zachary. That's my middle son. So he and his wife are probably watching. So thank you for hopping on, guys. But yeah, that is my middle son, his wife Ronnie, and they are the parents of my two beautiful grandbabies, my two granddaughters.
Your two granddaughters. That's how fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so that happened, and I was looking for, once I closed the case, I had to find something that I could do from home.
Mhm.
And then I saw the Ramsey financial coaching, and that's where I signed up for it. I used one of my tax returns. I signed up for it, took the course, and that's where TLC financial coaching bloomed from.
Love it.
Long story short.
No, that is fascinating.
So, but yeah, so that was not a fun 7 years.
No, at all.
At all. But I look back on it now and I'm like, there are so many things that I learned through those 7 years that I can help other people with. And when one of my clientele is people who are getting over illnesses and trying to get their footing again, and that's where that comes from. So the clientele that I work with are major transitions, people going through major transitions in life, which is divorce, separation, widowhood, loss of a job, anything that's going to upset your life and you just like you're upside down. Everything except for widowhood I have experienced, but in place of widowhood, I've lost a child. So I understand that grieving process.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I fought my niche for a long time of who I wanted to work with. And through a lot of prayer and a lot of supplication, I was like, okay, I need to face this because this is who needs my help. So, yeah.
Don't you love it when you have a plan and God just looks down and goes, right.
Yeah, he's like, you just keep going that way, and
keep on, keep
I'm
on,
slowly turn you this way.
I'm gonna change the desire of your heart.
Yeah, I fought it. I did fight it because I'm still going through part of it. And it makes you, when you help somebody out of your own pain, it makes you look at areas you don't want to look at.
Yeah.
But it also heals you and it makes you grow. And I am so thankful for that because working with divorcees, which I'm doing right now, I am working through that process myself. And it is through what I coach my clientele, I'm hearing myself say, and it's a biblical thing that when you speak, your brain is going to process that like you're talking to yourself. So as I'm speaking life and love and acceptance into them, my body is also receiving that. And I've seen changes in myself. And yeah, I'm very thankful for it that I finally gave in.
He's finally going, I told you.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Sometimes we
funny
just don't
because
understand.
we get support in the strangest places, you know. And there was this one guy I know, floods are coming, cops get around, tell everybody they need to evacuate. No, it's okay. God's got me. And then floods keep going up, the waters are up to the second floor, and a boat comes along. Dude, come on, let's go. Let me get you to safety. No, it's okay, God's got me. Floods keep going up. He's standing on the roof. His house is completely flooded. And a helicopter comes to him. No, that's okay, God's got me. He dies. He goes to heaven. He says, God, why didn't you save me? I was waiting for you. Why didn't you take the cop, the boat, or the helicopter I sent you? You know, so sometimes we get the support. Speaking of which, your son says he is here supporting you. So we get the support in strange places, and that's just how big it is.
Yes.
God doesn't want us to stay comfortable. He blesses us in our discomfort that is according to his will. That is from your son.
Oh my God, Zachary. He is my, I'm going to get emotional. He is my rebel from God. He is. And yeah, I need a tissue. Zachary, why'd you do that to me?
Authenticity. Well, you know, it was funny. Earlier you said, I coach out of what I'm going through.
Yeah.
That's authenticity. I
Absolutely.
coach people doing this. Well, have you ever gone through it? No, I just know what it goes through. Well, how do you know what goes through if you haven't done it, been there, if you're going through it now? How can you actually do anything? People can see through that.
Yes.
And they know, oh, well, you must be a fraud because you really don't know what I'm going through.
Right.
But when you actually know, there's different lingos. Like I used to have an executive job. I can talk to executives. I still work on 3 different boards. I know how executives talk. Somebody else, oh, I can do executive coaching, and starts talking to executives. And they're like, dude, you don't even know what we're talking about. I learned a new lingo from my brother's kid. They say bussin'. That means it's really good. And I'm like, bussin', there's a bus coming?
That's what I was thinking.
I'm forever having to ask my kids, I'm like, I'll hear something like, what does this even mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just shows us